We're holding now Siman Reish Samach Vav, the last Siman in Yeridea for Hilchas Milah. The Siman is Benegei Hilchas Shabbos, and the same is Be'ez Hashem afterwards. We'll learn Siman Shin Lamed Aleph in Arachayim in Hilchas Shabbos, which is Milah B'Shabbos. Milah B'Zmana, you do the 8th day, which is the 8th day, you do it on Shabbos, and it's Doicha Shabbos. The shaila is enachanami taka. It's midei raisa. There's a drasha b'yoyim hashmini yimol b'sar alasai that you do milah v'afilu b'Shabbos. Whether it's techuya hutra, you do it even b'Shabbos. The shaila is just like you find by other deiraisas, the mitzvah of shofar, the mitzvah of lulav that falls out, Sukkot, the first day Sukkot falls out on Shabbos. So even though Midei Raisi is supposed to take lulav, Midei Raisi is supposed to blow shofar, Zok the Gemara, Gzeira de Rabba, Shem Yavirenu Dal Ramas V'Shos Rabim, and they were matcher the mitzvah. They said, don't blow shofar, don't take lulav. So the Milah, Frek Toisves and Megillah, Daf Daled, why did you say the same thing also by Milah? Shema Yavirenu, what are you going to be maver? The Taisus Yom Tov explains in Sukkah. The Taisus Yom Tov explains afterwards you're going to bring the baby, I guess, to show the baby to see if it was a good milah, because maybe before it could be Chai Noises Atzmai. But the Shema Yavirenu is a problem. Could be you're going to take the knife, you're going to take the show to learn, but you're going to go Eitzel Chacham, just like you're going to go to Chacham to teach you how to blow shofar, and you go to Chacham to see with lulav. So you go to the Chacham, will teach you. As I frek Taisvis is Shaila. Tosfos says 2 terutzim. Oh, very good. That's going to be the 4th teretz, and we'll speak about it. Is it taka lahadya? We'll get to it. Tosfos says, nachabel, the shaila is, what do you have to, why did, enachanami taka milah is doicha Shabbos, but the Rabbanon, l'chayr should be matcha that it shouldn't be doicha Shabbos. Tosfos says 2 terutzim. One teretz is that milah is more chamer. Shekei nichrasa allow yud gimel brises. It's very chomer, the milah. So the Milah, even though be a side that is a gzeirim, the Rav Hashem Yavirenu, Lamaisa, they came out, they said not to be matche milah. The second teretz of Tosfos, why gzeirim the Rabbah, why we're not matche milah? Tosfos' second teretz is that milah is different than the other mitzvahs. Lulav, anybody takes a lulav. So Milah, it's a gzeira, anybody who takes, everybody takes lulav. So Milah, it's these gzeira shema, you're going to go to the chacham. Masha ein kein milah. Milah is the choni abaki, right? You have to put in a vest a lot of koiches, you gotta, that's a lot of time to put in and to be able to be a moyel. Zok Tosfos only a baki. So since it's only a baki, Memela, we're not choishish. A baki anyways knows how to do milah. So there's no yelach eitzel chacham. He knows a mela, there's nothing what to be choishish. That's Tosfos' second teretz. The third teretz is the Ran. The Ran says a teretz like this. The Ran is in Rosh Hashanah, Daf Ches in the Daf Arif. The Ran says, you know why there's no gzeira, the Rabba Shema, the Shema Yavirenu Dal Ramas V'Shos Rabim? He says we're only geyser, only b'makom where it's a mitzvah. I'll call yachid v'yachid. All of Klal Yisrael is mechuyev. Shofar lulav, everybody's mechuyev, everyone. Memela, if somebody's going to be running with the lulav to the Rav, everybody's busy doing the mitzvah. There's not going to be other people to remind him. By Milah is just a yachid. There's a yachid here and there that does a milah on Shabbos. Since it's only a yachid, you have the Gemara in Eruvin, Rab Mitzkri Adadi, and Shad is not Rab Mitzkri Adadi, that's Vaita. You have Stam, only a yachid is doing it, so the other people that are not doing the mitzvah are not torrid. They're not torrid in the mitzvah. So Mela, if you see somebody else walking outside with a baby before or after, you'll know to tell them. Mashinga with a lulav, everybody's very busy with the Dalad Minim. So Mamela, if somebody's going to go out with the Dalad Minim, he's not going to be reminded that it's aser. Min Adoima is also shofar. Not everybody knows, but it's not the chachma ve'ein malacha. But it's not the. No, don't worry about shofar. Everybody has the mitzvah.
Yeah, but not everyone's going to be doing it.
Everyone is being oisek in the mitzvah. Could be not everyone's blowing, but everyone's oisek in the mitzvah. If not blowing, then you're being yotze with the shmiya of the shofar. By Milah, you have the yechidim that have the mitzvah. Lamaisa, it's very kedai to shtel to the Chassam Sofer. The Chassam Sofer says a big chiddush ladina in Hilchos Megillah and Hilchos Purim. The halacha is that b'di'evid one could read the Megillah already. Erev Purim, the night Purim, Leil Purim, the Megillah, you can read it already from Plag. I'll tell you the halacha. It's b'di'evid. Even the minion over here, the Plag minion, Erev Purim, they don't read the Megillah, it's b'di'evid. The halacha is you're allowed to read the b'di'evid. What happens if Purim falls out Motzei Shabbos? This past year, Purim falls out Motzei Shabbos. Are you allowed to read the Megillah Shabbos afternoon after Plag? But even b'di'evid, are you allowed to read the Megillah? Are you allowed to read the Megillah? So Pashtus, you tell me, Avada not, Gzeira de Rabba, Shem Yavarena Dal Ramas. Zokta Chassam Sofer, Alpi this Ran. I'm saying it to bring out the idea, to understand. Zokta Ran, since the Chassam Sofer, Alpi this Ran, that since no one's reading the Megillah Purim after Shabbos afternoon, Erev Purim, it's the few Yechidim that are being Soymech on the B'diavad. So Milah, Zokta Chassam Sofer, you could read the Megillah Esther Shabbos afternoon, after the Plag. Chdush Chassam Sofer on the Shulchan Aruch. What'd say?
Don't tell the Plag.
No, but the Plag minion doesn't read the Megillah because it's a b'diavad. We're going ba'ifin that a person has to do a b'diavad. If you have such a hechatemtza to be able to do a Shabbos, they'll... One more point, Lagabi, this idea of Rabbim, that only if everybody's doing it. But it's important to point out that there's a change when it's a chayvas rabbim that everybody's mechuyev, and sometimes it's a chayvas hatzibur. Why? The Goyen asks, the Meiser Rav, and the Agoyes, he asks, Megillah dis Shema Yavirenu Dal Ramas Peshus Rabbim. What's about Keheles, Shira Shirim, those that were noyik to read it from a klaf? So why over there do you read it on Shabbos? Why is there no Shema Yavirenu? As I reflect the Goyen. So he says, because the pshat is, it's not every single person's mechuyev. These are chayvus hatzibur. By chayvus hatzibur already, we're not chayshish. Over there you say Rava mitchiri adadi, the Gemara in Eruvin. So when it's a chayvus hatzibur, he brings a raya kriyas haTorah every single Shabbos. Why we're not mavatal the kriyas haTorah, the takanas kriyas haTorah Shem Yavirenu? The teretz is because it's a chayvus hatzibur. Not every single person's mechuyev. Mashen came back to Milah to understand Milah, Avada, everyone's mechuyev in the mitzvah Milah, but it's only negay those few people that have kids that Yom Hashmini, Milah Bezman, the 8th day of Shabbos. That's where it's Ne'emar.
If the parents are not knowledge here on Shabbos, so then you can't call yourself. Then it becomes their responsibility.
You're taka right. It's a good shiloh what you're asking. You're asking that Lamaisa have a hechatimta that it's a chayva satzibur. I mean, but Lamaisa, it's only one person is going to do it. It's one. You're right. I don't think the chiyuv is the problem. I think it's one. I think it's one person doing the mitzvah. If everybody's doing the mitzvah, there's a problem. It's one person doing it. They speak about it. The fourth teretz, which Reb Elia mentioned already before, the fourth teretz, why you don't say Shema Yavirenu, is because he's a klal, something that says mefurish in the Torah. Chachamim don't come and say differently. It says, Tosfos brings about it in Bab Metzir by Ribis, Lashon HaTosfos, Ulafish HaTorah Hetira Behedya Lerotul Hamacham Chachamim Devreim. Something that the Torah says mefurish, the Chachamim didn't say. To be oiker, Rosh Hashanah Dalad Minim. The Torah says the Torah doesn't say bedafka take b'Shabbos. Mashenga by Milah, the Torah says mefurish. One minute. The Torah Tamima also brings this same teretz. That pshat is something that's not something that says mefurish. The Torah says mefurish. The Chachamim didn't make a gzeira. And on the Hagoyas over there, the Azharava, he has this already. He says it's mafurish. It's not mafurish. It's a drasha. Where does it say that it's Doicha Shabbos? The Torah says b'yoyim hashmini yimo b'sar alasai. B'yoyim hashmini afilu b'Shabbos. That's mafurish. That's not mafurish.
What is it?
It's a what is it? No, Avad it's a deraisa, but it's a drasha. It's not mafurish. What is mafurish? Mafurish would mean if the Torah says lahedya. This is not mafurish. Oh, Reb Tzvi will get to that in a minute. Very good. Ramosha says the 1 minute. Let's just step by step. Very good. So the Vaila we have the Shaila could be it's not mafurish because Lamaisa mafurish means if the Torah is made klar lahed you do it on Shabbos. Here the Torah says do it on Shabbos. The Torah says b'yoyim hashmini. B'yoyim hashmini a drasha. Oh, 1 second. The Prima Godim. This is a Gavalda Gemara Makam. This is a Chashav Gemara Makam that I was showed. Someone showed it to me, and I want to share it weiter. The Prima Godim in the Psicha in the Akdama to Orach Chaim. He declares a shaila, and he declares, and he wants to know a drasha, is that called mefurish or not? Yeah, he declares the shaila, he declares something. He declares on a drasha, and he declares also on halacha l'moshe misinai. Something that's a drasha and something that's halacha l'moshe misinai, is that called mefurish or not? What the Olam's koching over here, if it's called mefurish or not, the Prima Godim declares this shaila. And the Prima Godim says, I have a raya. What's my raya? Tosfos, what we just started. Tosfos says, asks a shaila why we don't have Gzeira Derabba. Right, as I frek Tosfos, why don't we have Gzeira Derabba? Says the Prima Godim, what do you mean? The Torah says, with a drasha, b'yoyim hashmini, it's mefurish. El al karchach, that a drasha is not called mefurish. As I the Prima Godim. Drasha is not called mefurish. And that's why Tosfos never said the teretz b'yoyim hashmini to why we don't say Gzeira Derabba because it's mefurish. However, Lamaisa in Igros Moshe in Orach Chaim, Simon Kuf Lamed Daled, Ramosha brings this shaila, he brings this teretz that the reason why they didn't make Gzeira Derabba because it's mefurish in the Torah. So he says, it's mefurish. It's not mefurish. It's a drasha. But he says it is mefurish, and it's not a steer to the Prima Godim. Why is it mefurish? Because if you have the parsha saying something and you make a drasha extra something, it's a drasha, that's not mefurish. Over here, the whole pasuk in Parshas Tazria, b'yoyim hashmini yimo b'sar lasai, the whole pasuk is extra. It didn't have to say. We know everything already from the parsha in Bereshis. Since it's extra, then Milah, that's called mefurish in the Torah. So Milah, Atkan we have klar that the Milah, which is a mitzvah deraisa, that you do it even in Shabbos, even though it's klar chil Shabbos, whether it's chabura, makalkal b'chabura, but it's klar, you do it on Shabbos. And we said that we're not lamaisa, the Rabbanu weren't guys to push it off. Let's try to move on here, call it to the part 2. The chelak a little bit in halacha shaila, one of many. There's a lot to speak about, but let's try to at least get one of the items that come out while doing the bris. The etzem bris is doicha Shabbos. We just said b'yoyim hashmini yil b'sar lasai, it's doicha Shabbos. That's klar. Something that you don't have to do on Shabbos. You forgot to get the knife and you have to be Machal Shabbos. It's not Doicha Shabbos. We saw it in Shulchan Aruch. Only to be mild the baby. To go do something you forgot to do, it's not Doicha Shabbos. Let's see over here like this. These a couple of shilas that are really muktzah, the Rabbanon. We'll start with the knife. These the arla, and then these the offer. The knife. What's the halacha with the Milah knife? B'shas the Milah, we have no question, because the Torah says you do the Milah. It doesn't make a difference if it's muktzah. We said the Rabbanan never answered. What's about after the Milah when you're done? So let's take a look. The halacha is in Hilchas Muktzah, Siman Shin Ches. The whole Siman is about Muktzah. The Shulchan Aruch starts that there's such a thing as a klisha malachta le'isser, l'tzarech gufa mekayim is mutter. Then the Shulchan Aruch says these are muktzah, which is a muktzah machmas chasar and kiss, something that's expensive. You maktzah daita because you just don't want to touch it. A painting, something expensive. that's muktzah, and even l'tzayrich gufim mekayim is also aser. As I sagt the Shulchan Aruch. And the Shulchan Aruch says, what's an example? One of the examples is the knife of a Milah. Ismo shal Milah, sagt the Shulchan Aruch, is muktzah machmas chasar and kiss. It's muktzah. Now, so really after the Milah, it's muktzah. What's the din after the Milah? You finished, the knife is muktzah. What are you supposed to do? I'll tell you, these two types of muktzahs besides muktzah machmas chasar and kiss. These klisha malachti le'isr. The halacha is, by a klisha malachti le'isr, once you picked it up, a hammer to crack nuts, there's no problem anymore. You could take the hammer, walk with it wherever you want. It's in your hand, you'll go to a different room, take it to your house, wherever you want. That's the din by klisha malachti le'isr. Then these muktzah machmas gufay, let's say stones, or let's say money. So over there, the halacha is, even if it's in your hand, it doesn't make a difference, you have to drop it. You got to drop it, you have to throw it to the ground. You have money in your hand, and a rock, you have to drop it. It's not once it's in your hand already, you're allowed to move with it, you have to drop it. What's the halacha by Ismail Shal Milah, the knife of the Milah? You said pretty clearly, it's muktzah. So if it's muktzah, what's the halacha? Do you have to drop the knife right afterwards? What are you supposed to do? These four shitas, what to do with the knife. These four shitas. The shitas are Ramah. We'll try to handle all that stardom. You had it. You picked it up a heter. No, a lipa. Even if you picked it up, if it's doimed to a rock, doesn't make a difference. You have to drop it.
You pick up a heter. Pick it up to a
Richtig. We'll get these Ashitas Hamagen Avram here. We'll get Anachanami. A good point. The Ramah says, Lagabi Ismo Shal Milah. Umutal Taltal Ismo La'achra Milah Lahatsnioi B'Chatzer Amu'uriv. You're allowed to put away the knife. You're allowed to put it away. The Einoit Tzorach Le'oi B'Is Shabbos Le'Huktzeh B'Bein Hashmashos. The Ramah says that this knife it's not a steer to what we had, that a Milah knife is muktzah, because it's an expensive item and a person doesn't want to play around with it. But the Shabbos that you're using it for Milah, you would never maktzah daitoi. You would never maktzah daitoi because you want to use the knife for furish the Ramah. The Hayat Tzorach Le'oi B'Is Shabbos, you needed it. The Milah, it's not muktzah. The Shach brings it over. He goes on this. Afil shaloi letzorach Milah is mutter, and that's the Shitas Amarshal, which means that the knife is not muktzah. So we have one shita that the Milah knife on Shabbos of a Milah that's chal on Shabbos, the knife is not muktzah b'chlal. That's the first shita. Shitas Aramah. The Magen Avram says the whole Shabbos. The whole Shabbos means even shaloi b'shas Milah, even in the morning, even in the evening. Hatzlacha.
Je kent maar die in Kiev.
Right after the knife, it's not muktzah b'chlal. What was your shaila on Shulik? No, it's not muktzah b'chlal. The Shitas Aramah is that it's not muktzah b'chlal. It's not muktzah. And you're allowed to do whatever you want. You could put it down and pick it up. It's not muktzah. The Magen Avram, however, says like this. This that the Ramah brings them a koyer from Rabbeinu Yerucham. He brings them a koyer from Rabbeinu Yerucham and from the Ramban. The Lashon. This Magen Avram is in Shin Lamed Aleph. The Lashon is, I just read you the Lashon, and that's what the Magen Avram wants to say a little different. The Lashon is mutter l'taltal asakin la'achziroi la'achar Milah. You're allowed to move the knife la'achzir la'achar Milah. The ma'achar shetiltal akli beheter machzir le'ezamakim sheter. Tzvi, like you were saying before, the says, you're allowed to move the knife since you picked up the knife by the bris beheter. Once you picked it up beheter, so you're allowed to put it to wherever you want. But Zok the Magen Avram, that once you put it down, it's too late. It's muktzah. it's muktzah bein hashmoshes. It's muktzah later, but while it's in your hand, like you mentioned very good before, you picked it up a heter. So kol zman it's in your hand, you could put it wherever you want, take it to your house, take it home. We're going to soon see that that's a little bit not so practical in your hand, because after the milah you got to put down the knife. So it comes out, once that comes out, the Shitas Haramah is that it's not muktzah. Zok the Magen Avram, it's muktzah. It is muktzah, but you had a right to pick it up a shas the milah. It was mutter to pick up this muktzah by the milah. Memele, even though since you allowed to pick it up, it's in your hand, you could continue carrying it, take it wherever you want. That's the Shitas Magen Avram. A minute, I want to just get the Masada, the Shitas, I will handle with the nafkaminas. The Taz argues on the Magen Avram, and the Taz says it's muktzah. If it's muktzah, you're not allowed to be metalkel with b'chlal. Not before, not after. It's muktzah. I agree to what the Magen Avram is saying, that it's muktzah, but if it's muktzah right afterwards, you have to drop it. But Zok the Taz, you don't have to drop it, but oisei cheder, in that room, you're allowed to put it away somewhere. But oisei cheder. As Zok the Taz. You're going to ask me, if it's muktzah, and he doesn't agree to the Magen Avram svara kol zman it's b'yadeh, what's this heter of ba'osei cheder? Why ba'osei cheder you're allowed to? So the Taz says these a heter of ba'osei cheder because we have a problem. If we're not going to let the moil put away his knife, he's going to have to drop it. It's going to get ruined. It's going to get stolen. He's going to be mimna. He's not going to want to be mal. You're going to call up a moil. I had a baby, I have a meal on Shabbos, the moil is going to say, I'm sorry, it's not going to work. He's not going to want to do the meal, he doesn't want his knife to get ruined. Now I'm sure the moilim, they want to do the milas, they'll even, it's fine, it'll cost them a knife. But it's like just a yeah, we'll get to that also, Richter, we'll get to that, Avada. So Milah Dr. Taz, you have a heter to put away the knife in that room. If I understand correctly from the Machzas HaShekel, the Machzas HaShekel learns in the Taz that even if you put the knife down after the Milah, that's always the case. You do a bris and then you put the knife down. Even if you put the knife down, you're allowed to pick it up. This heter of Mimna, you're allowed to pick up the knife again and put it away. Ba'osei cheder. Ba'osei cheder is a heter. That's the mashmoyis. Everybody should please take a look in the Machzas HaShekel. I think it's pretty clear like that. As opposed to the Magen Avram, the Magen Avram holds that once you put the knife down, it's finished. You have to leave it there. If you're holding it, you can even take it home. But if you put it down, once you put it down, it stays there. The Taz learns something else. The Taz learns that even if you put it down, you're allowed to pick it up. Be'etzem it's muktzah, but we're matter to do muktzah because we don't want the moilim should stop doing bris on Shabbos. If you take a look in the Bir Halacha, in Hilchas Shabbos Reish Samach Vav, he brings about tiltal avonim, you have to throw it down. Zok the Bir Halacha, you have to drop it. However, by Milah, by Avonim Asa Leilach L'Makam Acher, Milvad Izmil Shal Milah, this is the Lashon. Even if it's muktzah, even though it's muktzah machmas chasar and kiss, Zokti bi halacha kol zman it's biyada, you're allowed to put it away. You're allowed to put it away. Kol zman it's biyada, and he says you're allowed to put it ba'osei cheder because of the svara that the moil shouldn't be mimna. In other words, he's going with the Taz, but he says the Taz is a heter ba'osei cheder only kol zman that it's biyada. So I'm not sure. Only kol zman it's biyada. Pashtus, you learn the Taz, and if you take a look in the Mishnah Brura, which is Meirich about this, is in Shin Yud. The Mishnah Brura brings the Taz, the Magen Avram. When he brings first the Taz, like we just said, and then he says, he brings the Magen Avram in Shin Lamed Aleph. In other words, he makes the Magen Avram machmer on the Taz. The Taz says just ba'osei cheder, and the Magen Avram says even anywhere. What's the machmer? So he says that kol zman she'izmo b'yadai lo yanich miyadai. So l'chayra pashtus the Taz learns that you're allowed to pick up the knife after you put it down, as long as you don't take it out of the room. But you're allowed to pick up the knife. It's muktzah, but we'll mark the yudi metalto muktzah. That's the shitas Taz. So the big nafkamina be'etzem is that every time you do a bris, you have to put down the knife to be able to do priya, to do mitzitza, to bandage it. You can't hold the knife. One pretty simple eitzah, which the El Yerabah brings, the Mishavura brings it, is give it over to somebody else. This heter of kol zman she'biyadi, just ask someone else to help you to hold a knife. That's the what?
Ask the person afterwards.
After you do the bris, ask someone else to hold it. That's a shaila. It's a shaila in Hilchos Shabbos. Also, we'll leave it for now. But you use that eitzah of passing on. Yeah, you're saying he has the heter. The fourth shita is the maril. The maril holds that it's muktzah, just like we had now the Taz the Magen Avram. But the maril holds it's so muktzah you have to drop it. So shita is a maril. It's the maril. The Goyen has a huge arichas, Reish Samach Vav Sif Katan Gimel. The Goyen goes on stark. He says, even though I know that the Darke Moshe, the Ramah, says that it's mutter, he says it's aser. And he goes through all the rayas that it's ein muktzah, what the Ramah says, L'chatzi Shabbos, he says, Zok the Ramah, Zok the Goyen, it's muktzah, because you maktzah daite right away, you maktzah daite later, only b'shas maisa. And he says this reason, what the Tas says, that we let you put the knife away because mimna. He says that svara where it's brought from is a Gemara in Beya. So the Goyen, that's only by Yom Tov. B'shem Simchas Yom Tov they were matter. So Milah the Goyen says that it's aser to be metaltal the knife. And Milah you have to drop the knife. So it comes out just to be masakim the shitas. We have 4 shitas. What to do with the knife? The Ramah says you could come, go, take it. It's no problem. That's the shitas Ramah. The cholkim on the Ramah a little bit is the Taz. The Taz says just in that room you could be metaltal the knife even after you put it down. You shouldn't. Moilam should want to do the Milah. The Magen Avram says only while it's in your hand, even somewhere else you could walk off with it. And then we have the shitas Agra that the Goyen holds that it's muktzah lagamri. B'diavad, one second, we'll get very good. B'diavad, if you put down the knife, the El Yerabah, the Chachmas Adam, the Mishubrin says mitzada to be mater, because Lamaisa we have the Ramah. Lamaisa it's a machlokes what to do. So what's the eitzah? So I asked around by different moilam. First of all, like Reb Tzvi said, these moilam taka that today they use disposable high timer. These 2 milas in disposable. First of all, it's not a chesaron kiss because it's not expensive. It costs $1 the disposable blade. That's first of all. If you use the whole thing as disposable, if the knife itself, it could still be expensive. So that's one eitzah, it's disposable. And then you let it fall, it goes into the rest of the paper that you roll up, that's garbage, graf shalrei, no problem. This morning I watched somebody at Bris, someone from Lakewood, so he told me that I saw the service Shevet HaLevi, Rav Wosner brings it. He brings that somebody wrote him. Rav Wosner himself says, Be'etzim, you can be Meiko, like the Ramah. But he says, this eitzah, that it could be a bosses. The eitzah of bosses is that he said he was going to buy, a nice tabak pushka, expensive, and he'll put it into his suitcase with the Milah stuff together with the knife. It has to cost more than the knife. So maybe it's a bosses leheter leisser. It's a big sugi of bosses for itself, but Al-Kavam, you have the heter of bosses.
The heter he dropped the knife into the bag.
Avada. Yeah. Richtig, very good. Well said. It has to be avada that you put it down, you drop it, you put it down right after you're done, right into the suitcase. It's nearby. It's spaghetti, zarka, even yaitz the goyen. Then there's another eitzah. Then there's another tzad that many moilim. We spoke last week. Rav Shimon Schreiber, he told me that he knows that moilim the taka move it. It's a different tzad. It's a sakana. To leave your zarg, you leave the knife over there. It's a sakana. It's a very sharp knife, very sharp. Meilal sakana. And he also told me, like Lipa said, that the Minchas Aluzer, he used to have a chain. He had the knife with a chain as a necklace. And Mamela, so the chain, good, he's saying that it's a solid, he's saying it was a solid gold knife, so Mamela taka blives the tachshit. You said that he wore it as a necklace also, even in the week when he, So anyways, that's another eitzah. Today also, the Minkacha and his brother, these moilim that do that also, that they have a chain. What's the din? We'll just one more nakuda. What's about before the bris? We spoke about after the bris, it's technically muktzah. Before the bris, later Ramah, we don't even have a shayla because the Ramah says it's not muktzah, it's no problem. What's about before the bris? Some have the minig to put the knife under the baby's head. Such a minig. Are you allowed to do it? Are you allowed to put, it's muktzah, the knife is muktzah on Shabbos. During the week you can do it. Shabbos, the knife is muktzah, you allowed to do it. Dr. Vosner that you're allowed to, and he says because this is all b'chlal hachana to the Milah. Min hadoima, you find the same idea, which we spoke already about it. If you make someone, you make the moil a shliach. So one of the ways of making the moil a shliach is you give over the knife you give him the knife. So what's about on Shabbos? Are you allowed to take the knife and give over the knife to the moil? So there's a machloikis in Shabbos Bris. He says you're not allowed to. It's muksa. You're not allowed to metaltal the knife. Shalei l'tzayrach. In Shabbos Bris, he brings to Rabbi Yashiv that it's mutter for the same reason as we mentioned about putting it on their pillow. Kol zeh, it's achana, it's l'tzayrach. Some say if you have somebody helping you, with the bris and he's passing you all the things, that's also l'tzayrach achana. And the Milah, it's mutter. So just a second, what do we have over here? We have that it's us. You're allowed to do the Milah even midiraisa fashteitzach midiraisi muchiv to do it in the Rabbanan war and Geyser. And then we said that the knife. There's a four-way machlekes about the knife of the Milah on Shabbos. Is it not muktzah b'chlal? Is it muktzah lagamri? Is it only afterwards a little bit? And we said these eights around what to do with the knife, how to get away with it. And before we said also pashas nichlal in the midst of the ma'isa Milah, and Milah it's mutter.
What would you say in the case where